Good morning. Thank you for coming today. Obviously, this has been a very difficult day for me personally, having had the opportunity to work with AJ for 10 years and Norv for the last 6. I don't think anybody could have found any two more dedicated and loyal individuals. I met with them both this morning, and I thanked them both for their dedication and their commitment to try to win a world championship here. Obviously, we didn't get there. I knew at the beginning of the season that if we didn't get into the playoffs and win some games, that I was probably going to have to make this decision. But I'm looking forward now to the process of hiring a new general manager and a new head coach. And as you know, or I think most of you know, I've hired Ron Wolf to come on as a consultant to help me through this hiring process. And this process has begun as we're talking right now. We have sent out consent letters to teams that have potential candidates that we're looking at that are in the playoffs. So we're waiting to hear back. If we receive approval, then there will be some interviews done, hopefully this week.
Do you prefer offensive-minded, defensive-minded, looking at it that way at all?
On a coach?
Yeah.
Yeah, you know, I think, and let me clarify one thing, I believe that my goal here is to try to get a general manager in place first, and then go out and hire our new head coach. That may not be possible because of who's going to be out there, what consents we may receive, but you know, that is my goal right now. So until I get the general manager in place, really can't answer that, because I'm going to depend on him for his advice on what direction we should go.
And Jimmy will get interviewed?
Yeah, absolutely will get interviewed.
Any idea how long it's going to take the process to get a new?
You know, I don't know, to be honest with you. There's no time frame. Obviously, as everybody knows, there's a lot of teams out there right now that are looking for coaches and general managers, so it's going to be obviously very interesting in the next several weeks.
Dean, did the empty seats in the stadium, did that factor into this decision as well?
Well, obviously, if you don't win, fans aren't going to come. And and this is, I think this is part of our business. And, you know, but, you know, as I said earlier, I mean, our goal is to put a winning, you know, product on the field, and we haven't done that in the last 3 years. So it's not a good thing when you don't see the fans in the stands.
Dean, how wide is your net, your casting? Is it going to be, you know, coaches, broadcasters, anybody, any limitations on the parameters you're looking?
No, I think it's open right now. So as I said, we'll have to see how, as we go through this process, how it all unfolds.
Where do you think Norv and AJ went wrong over the last 3 seasons?
Well, I mean, we could sit here and speculate all day long, and you know, when you find yourself in this situation, it's probably a little bit of everything. Obviously, some player personnel decisions as well as coaching. I think Norv would say that himself to you. But you know, you can. To me, I'm looking forward. I'm not looking backwards.
Dean, do you think this team needs to be reconstructed, or are you pretty close to maybe making that next step?
Well, you know, obviously I want to get our general manager in place, and that's something we're going to talk a lot about. I do personally believe we have a good core group of players. On defense, we have, in my mind, a great quarterback, given the opportunity, you know, with some better personnel around him. But I want to wait till the general manager gets in place first.
And considering the recent trend in the NFL with teams turning things around very quickly, we've seen what the Colts have done this year, are you optimistic that this can be turned around very quickly?
Well, yes. To answer your question, yes. I want to turn around as fast as we can, but we got to do it right too. We have to build this team right.
Why go with Ron Wolf to help out?
I think he's a very credible individual. He's well respected in the league. He's been was obviously very successful in Green Bay, and you know, I'm going to depend on his opinion a lot during this whole process.
It was reported that you had made your decision weeks ago to make this termination. Was that true?
Well, you know, I knew, as I said earlier, I think at the beginning of the season, if we didn't get into the playoffs, you know, and do something that, you know, win some games, that I probably was going to make the change. But I would say, if you want a specific time and date, probably when we were 100% officially eliminated from the playoffs, which was right after the Carolina game.
John will be part of the search committee, according to
He
the
will.
reports.
That would be John Spanos, Ed McGuire, Ron, and myself.
And what role do you see him playing in the organization next year and in years to come?
Well, I think most of you have heard this before, but, you know, at some point in time, I expect John to step in and take over from my position. I'm not ready to retire yet, and there's no specific time frame either. I mean, this could be 3 or 4 years down the line, maybe 5, but, you know, ultimately, he's gonna have this responsibility.
Is there a specific personality that you're looking for in terms of for a GM?
Anybody that can win.
Spanos, again, during the process, how many people, how many persons there is on the list to interview?
Well, there's 7 or 8 on each list. That's a fair number.
Can we have a name?
No, I've decided not to disclose any names, obviously, because most of these individuals are on playoff teams right now, and as you know, we have to submit consent letters, we have to get approval from the teams, and, you know, it could be a distraction to these teams if these names got out, and maybe these individuals wouldn't want their names out, so we've decided not to give any names out.
Is there a potential for a guy like John Gruden or Bill Cowher, who's not tied with a team, to be interviewed?
Well, I would say it's open. Everything is open.
Have you gone through this process before? Have you ever sent a letter and been denied by a team to talk to someone?
I'd have to think about that. That was a long time ago. I don't think so. I don't think so.
Do you have any
Comment on the lease
prerequisites, NFL head coaching experience?
I'm sorry?
Any prerequisites for the head coach?
No, I don't think so. Like I said, it's an open process, and, you know, it's something we're going to be discussing, and I'm going to be talking to Ron a lot about.
With 7 head coaches being like everything, how do you move fast enough to ensure you don't end up with your 3rd or 4th?
Well, you want to move quickly, but you want to make the right decision too. So it's going to be very competitive out there. There's no doubt about it. And so, but you have to make the right decision. And I'm starting with the general manager. I think that's key for us, and then we'll move forward.
In keeping Norv this year, you cited that you spoke and listened to your quarterback, and that was part of the reason, his attachment to Norv Turner. Will you listen to any players this time around?
Well, you know, that was, no, to answer your question, no.
You feel like this was a lost year then, in hindsight being 20?
No, I don't. You know, I'm disappointed. You know, I made the decision. It's totally my responsibility. If you want to blame anybody, blame me. But I believed it was the right thing to do at the time. Obviously, it didn't work out. I'm looking ahead. I'm not looking back.
You say you're looking for anyone who can win. What attributes, in your estimation, make someone a winner in the NFL?
Well, I think experience has some part of it, obviously. But, you know, there's certain characteristics that individuals have, and you can sense it when you interview them. That's the kind of guy I want to have. And so it's hard for me to sit there and tell you that till I actually meet the person. But you can spot a guy that's got a lot of confidence in himself and, you know, and knows what he's doing. So until you get in there and really talk to these individuals, you know, it's hard for me to say exactly.
What are your thoughts on the upcoming lease termination window of Qualcomm Stadium?
You know, none. None.
What about the remainder of the coaching staff? Have all the coaching staff been terminated as well?
No, no. With the exception of 2 or 3 coaches, everybody's still under contract and will remain under contract.
And then it's up to the next coach if they want to.
Right, right.
Dean, do you want input as far as maybe some of the assistant coaches being held over with the new regime?
Do I want input?
Will you have input? Maybe keeping some of the
No, I think
coaches?
that's, well, I've always given the coach the opportunity to put his coaching staff together, so that will be entirely up to him.
Is John Pagano a candidate for the head coaching job?
Like I said, it's wide open, so we'll see.
How quickly do you want to narrow it down? I mean, as teams get eliminated from playoff contention, do you want to have somebody maybe before the Super Bowl? Do you have a time frame on it?
You would like to, yeah, but again, like I said, I don't know what's going to happen in the next few days. We may get denied on all these consents, requests, so you know, you won't know till that happens. So it's a changing thing every day.
Dean, it seems that this firing was expected for quite some time. How did Norv and AJ react when you spoke with them?
You know, they were professional in every sense, I can't tell you, and we're very close. You know, having worked with AJ for 10 years and 6 years with Norv, we're very close personally. So like I said, it was very difficult, but they clearly said, you know, I know you have to do what you have to do. So they were very understanding, very professional. I have a great deal of respect for both of them.
What about for the players?
I'm sorry?
The players?
I haven't talked to any players.
All right, folks.
Okay.
We're gonna
Thank
let
you.
Dean go.
Thank you, Mr.
Norv
Spanos.
is, Norv is here, so.